Most people work 40 years just to retire broke, and I built 5 passive income streams that make me 7 figures every year. And in this video, I'm showing you how to start doing the same in your 20s. And no, this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme, crypto, that type of thing. This is about real long-term wealth and building financial freedom whilst you're still young. And this video will take you through my exact blueprint for how I play the long game, and I'm going to show you why my strategies have worked for me and how they can work for you too. If you're committed, dedicated, patient, and have a keen eye for finding opportunities. And I also recommend that you watch my last few videos in this series aimed at people in their 20s, because these videos, they're going to show you the mindset that you're going to need to succeed. So if you're in your 20s and wanting to build a life that creates wealth without you having to trade all of your time for money, then this video is for you. My name is G-Cornell, and this channel is dedicated to helping people create their own destinies. I've been in business for 30 years helping brands sell more of their products and services, but most importantly, I will show you how to cope and succeed in your journey whilst enjoying it along the way. So let's get into it. Only invest in what you know and understand. Now, before I get into this video, I just want to be clear from the outset that this is not financial advice, and there are many ways to make passive income, okay? And you don't even need to be in business to make passive income, but this video is giving you guys an insight into how I make my money through passive income and how my strategies, they can work for you too. And I've made many mistakes over the years, okay? But as soon as I stopped chasing fast money and I started building smart money, everything changed. So if I was going to give people in their 20s any advice, then it would be to don't try to get rich quickly, as this usually ends in failure, and also to only invest in things that you know and understand. And if you can apply this method, then you will have every chance to be successful. And I'm starting with business because it's been the foundation for my entire life success. Passive income stream number 1, business. And this is how you stop trading time for money. And I'm starting with business because for me, this has been the foundation for how I've been able to build a wonderful life. And business has given me so much, as it teaches you to live outside of your comfort zone whilst holding you to account in every facet. And by this I mean, whilst you live on a knife's edge, you soon realize that your survival depends on you and how well you adapt to your surroundings. It teaches you how to be resilient, persistent, that type of thing. And it teaches you discipline. And if you want to be successful in business, then you will need to adopt these traits very, very quickly. Now, here are 3 ways business becomes passive. Number 1, get other people to do the work for you. So if you're just starting out in business and you want to create an instant passive income stream, then the first thing that you could do is to outsource the work. Meaning, if you mow lawns, right, and charge the client $50 as an example, then you could pay someone $25 to mow the lawns for you. And that would give you a passive income profit of $25, which is 2 times return on your investment. And say you weren't happy with only making $25, then now you have the time to scale without you having to do anything other than using your spare time to get more clients. And from there, the sky's the limit. And you can apply this method to basically any service industry. The goal here is to create money whilst you're not trading your time for money. Very important. And when your business starts to grow and you don't want to rely on subcontractors anymore, or you just want to have a little bit more control over everything, then you can start hiring full-time employees. And this is how I make passive income in my business. My employees are all hired on a full-time basis, and my clients enjoy knowing that their work is handled by people that they know and trust. And the advantages here is that now I build a brand that is reliable and even more profitable. Why? Because now I have employees who produce the work. They also work together to come up with new solutions and new ideas on how to make more money for the business in a number of capacities. So now my business is not just generating one passive income stream, it's also creating additional assets which have value, which means that should I wish to sell the business someday, then now I have another appreciating asset. Second, use your spare time to create new businesses. And once your business is going well and your passive income is starting to flow, then now is the time to start a new business that makes more money. And using myself as an example, I now have the time and money to venture into other businesses that complement my main business. And for me, this has worked very, very well because I can use my experience from my main business to create new passive income streams, and again, all without me having to trade my time for money. And depending on how much money you wish to make or how much you wish to scale, it all comes down to your time and resources. And if you can do this right, then again, the sky's the limit. Thirdly, use your profit to invest in passive income streams. And this is where things start to change for the better. Now that I have my main business, which is making a passive income, and I also have other businesses which are making passive income, I now have a healthy profit that I can use to invest in additional passive income streams. And for me, this is why I like investing in property. And as I said earlier, I think it's wise to invest in areas that you know a lot about. And I only invest in property because it's proven to be highly profitable for me and a very safe investment strategy. And has also enabled me to generate millions of dollars. Passive income stream number 2, renovations. And this is manufactured equity, the wealth lever that, most 20s ignore. And it's the great Australian dream to own your own home, right? But these days, it's becoming increasingly more difficult for young people to get into the property market, especially in Sydney, as it has some of the most expensive property real estate on earth. But this doesn't mean it's unachievable. My advice to any young person who wishes to get into the property market is to start small. You don't need to go and buy your dream home straight off the bat. The goal here is to get started with something that you can afford to buy. And even if it's a small unit that needs work, either way, if you can afford to get into the market and get started, then you are well on your way to becoming rich. So how did I generate passive income from buying my own home? Well, for me, it was all about adding value, right? Meaning, the first home that I bought to live in, it needed work. So over the course of the first few years, I added value by renovating the property, and I used the small profits I made from my business to renovate my home. I fixed up areas of the land and the house to make it more appealing to potential buyers, and as a result, I manufactured equity from day one. And this means that for every dollar that I spent on renovating my own home, it returned me 2 times the return on my investment in equity. And not only did I create more equity, the house was also going up in value each year that I held onto it. And this manufactured equity, it gave me the ability to invest in my next passive income stream, which is buying investment properties. Passive income stream number 3, rentals. The moment your roof starts paying your bills. So now that I had generated enough equity from my own home, I was now able to use that equity to purchase my first investment property. And I did this all without using 1 cent of my own money. I was able to borrow the entire amount to purchase my first investment rental. So how did I make passive income on my investment property? Well, I didn't use any of my own money to buy the property. I bought below market value, which manufactured instant equity. I used the property as a tax write-off because of our negative gearing, which means that any out-of-pocket expenses were tax deductible. And lastly, the property was now going up in value, which meant that for every year that I held onto that property, it was increasing in value as well. So now I must say here that I'm only giving you a snapshot, right? As I'm not going into much detail on how I put the deals together or anything like that, but it just demonstrates how I use residential property rentals to create more passive income streams. And I didn't just stop with one investment property. I kept buying more and more properties, and as a result, the passive income started to compound, and it's still compounding today. And this is where you can see how passive income generates more passive income. Passive income stream number 4, commercial real estate. When your office pays your mortgage. From very early on in my business career, I always dreamed of working out of my own office or building which I own, right? So I wouldn't have to pay rent to, say, a landlord. And this is where buying commercial property played a huge role in my wealth creation. And as I was saying earlier, I didn't just go out and buy a huge office space. I bought a small office space off the plan at a discounted price because it was going to take 2 years to build, which was ready for me to move into later. So now I had a commercial investment that I was now able to run my business from. And as the years went by and my business grew, I was then able to sell that commercial space for a much bigger space. But the advantages for me here was that I didn't have to worry about leases. It was now mine. So how did I make passive income on this commercial property? Well, firstly, I made instant equity because I bought it off the plan. The commercial property kept increasing in value because I bought in a very popular business park. Very important. I was able to use the equity from this property to buy a much bigger commercial property. And as my business grew, my commercial property, it started to make more money. How? Well, I split it into 2 separate offices, which I was able to rent part of it out, and that rent alone was able to pay my mortgage off, and all of my out-of-pocket expenses were paid by the tenant. But most importantly, all of these expenses for my commercial property were tax deductible, which meant I made money right across the board. And lastly, this brings me to the final stage in my passive income journey, and that is being able to fund my own retirement. And this is something which, I strongly believe in, especially for younger people in their 20s. Passive income stream number 5, self-managed super funds. The safety net your future self begs with you to set up. And this is something that doesn't get much attention, okay? Especially for the younger generation, which I just don't understand why. Because the whole point of wealth creation, it's to be able to fund your lifestyle without you having to work. And when you're young, you generally don't think about getting old or how you'll plan to live once you retire. So that is why I'm adding this passive income stream as my last strategy, because this is something that I invested in from my mid-20s and it's proven to be extremely worthwhile for me. I set up a self-managed super fund so I could invest my own superannuation contributions directly into my own fund. And you wouldn't believe me if I told you how well this has done for me, especially if you start young. If you earn a wage and you put your super contributions into your own fund over a long period of time, then this money adds up. And it just keeps compounding and compounding. And that's the reason why I believe so strongly in this. It's because this will be like your safety net should your investments go pear-shaped, as at least you'll be able to retire knowing that you've saved for your future retirement, right? And not only will this be your safety net, having your own super fund also enables you to invest your money in a number of ways, from investing in shares, property, and a range of other investment strategies. So how did I make passive income from my self-managed super fund? Well, I can invest in a variety of income earning opportunities. I earn high interest from the money which is inside my fund. I get concessional tax rates. I don't lose money to third-party brokers or financial planners. I'm in control of how my money works for me. I can't touch the money until retirement age, which means it's forced savings. And when I do reach retirement age, I can withdraw the entire amount tax-free. But for me, the most important thing to highlight here is that should any of my businesses or investments go wrong, at least I can be confident that I can rely on my super to fund my retirement, right? And this gives me very much peace of mind. And if you're in your 20s, then start thinking for later, because trust me, the years fly past very, very quickly. And if you can get a head start whilst you're young, then your older self, it's going to love you for it later. Believe me on this one. Now this wraps up my video today, and if you're in your 20s and you are serious about wealth creation, then you are going to need to do what rich people do, and that is all about creating passive income streams that make you money whilst you sleep. So thanks very much for watching, and I would love it if you could please like and subscribe so you'll be the first to know about my next wealth creation video in this series. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.